Welcome guys, it's Glenn from Launch. This is part 3 of the video series I'm doing with the Pad 7's interface, just to explain it to new users regarding each of the operation buttons or interface on the actual Pad 7. Now, I recommend you just go back to the video 1, 2 and then now 3. And I'll carry on with different videos regarding each of the separate functions. Now this might include the oscilloscope and sensor box as separate videos, but what I'll do is I'll just cover again the interface itself and carry on of each of the areas that the Pad 7 is capable of doing and its features, and if you've got issues, what you require to do regarding the Pad 7's operation and feedback. Now, today's video, we're covering the next few modules, which is the other module. So you go to other modules. Now, this is the area that has the toolboxes, files, and tablet interfaces. Now, the very first thing is the recorded master. Now, I use this recorded master when I'm doing my videos live in the vehicle itself and when I share them to the channel. Now, it's a good interface. In regarding recording the screen, that everything that operates on that screen, and also sound. So it records the sound from the Pad 7 onto the video itself. Now, to use it, you just matter go into the 3 bars at the top, and you can switch the audio on here where it is from a mic, the resolution. So all the setups are all here. And the one thing I do use is the floating window, and this actually puts that little area of the time that it's recording and the arrow over the screen, so you can actually turn it off when you want to. So it's a good little recorder, and then I edit it later. So that's the master recorder. So again, you can go up to the other 2 bars and you can switch the displays, how you list it, and you can see also the recorded button. Its operation time is in this corner, and I can turn it on and off when I require. The next one is the toolbox. The toolbox is where you actually buy other diagnostic accessories for the Pad 7. This includes the oscilloscope, the sensor simulator, the multimeter, the battery testers, the IMO programmer, and the video scope. So once you click on that, as long as you've got the scope, for instance, hooked up to the USB, it will operate. Now we have 2 scope boxes. One's the version 1, and now we have version 2. So it's just a matter of clicking on what scope box you have. If it's version 1, you click onto that. This is version 2. The other one will not work without the other right box, so you can't get it confused. So, for instance, this is the interface for the scope, and which we'll cover in another video, I'd say. The next one itself is, we'll go back, is the sensor simulator. Now again, we have different series of this. If you've got the earlier one or the later one, which is the Sense S2-2, and again, if you want to do simulation of signals to the coolant sensor in the vehicle, and I will show you later how in another video how I set this up to actually monitor, use the sensor simulator and the data stream as one to diagnose a vehicle if you require to send a signal and look at the data stream itself. And you can easily do that by using the Pad 7 and the screen operations. So again, we might cover this in a different video, and it's simple operation, and I'll set it up later on and cover it in another video. So we'll go back. Now again, it has DC, it has different functions within the simulator. So when you go back, you can actually have sensors, which I was just in activation, so I can actually turn things on and off. And a draw, I can actually simulate a signal itself that I require. Sometimes I can use it as a tracer, so I can send a high frequency signal up the line and then I can read it at the other end, because I know what with oscilloscope what signal I'm looking at. But other things we'll cover is to do with the signals that it's receiving and sending. As said, it is a multimeter, so it reads ohms and all the other functions that a multimeter would do. So we'll cover that in a different video, I think. We'll go back. The multimeters is exactly the same thing. It's the same box. So it's just a different button itself. And again, we'll cover that later. The battery testers, again, we have a number of models. A lot of the popular ones is the alligator clips one. The 2 clips, and it's Bluetooth to the meter. It does all the checks and everything, which I've got here. And again, we might just cover that in a different video itself. Now, the battery tester I can do it all in one go with the Bluetooth. So I can actually diagnose the car. So the very first thing is I hook up the battery tester to the battery. I go to the diagnostic port, plug in the VCI, and then operate the pad 7, and then I can do a battery check and everything all in one go. Yes, I can see the battery voltage on the pad 7 screen, but to do a battery test, I'll do that later, and I do it all in one go. The IMO programmer I covered in previous videos. It has to be hooked up. That will be separate, and there's videos out regarding the IMO programmer. And the other one is the video scope. It has to be hooked up, and I've showed that in a previous video that I did. We might do a newer series of it in the next couple of weeks. Again, this videos are mainly for new users or people that are thinking about buying, and what's included into the pad 7 and what options you need to buy to add to your diagnostics capabilities. Now, the next one is the files. The file is the file area of the pad 7 itself. So for instance, if you wanted to look at certain files, or when you download something to the pad 7, you go into this area. Now, most cases it's an Android operating system, so they're all basically the same. You would go into the internal storage, and majority of the information that you would probably go into the filing system is around the CN launch, and this is where the logs and so forth are. Okay, it's just to show you what it is. But the one I wanted to show you is if you do a video recording, you can actually come down and look for the file system itself. Now, if you come down, you'll see screen recorder. Now that's the recorder master where it stores the files. So you'll click on that area and your videos will be here. So if you wanted to transfer them across, you can. I'll just go back. The next one is the tablet settings. Now, I mentioned this previous videos regarding if you're setting up your network when you first get the pad 7. This is where you would go straight away. You just open up the application, go into this other modules, and then go into this area which is in the settings, and then you can select all your functions regarding the tablets here. And as said, the most important one is your USB management. If you're using it as a charger, which is the USB-C, it needs to be switched on if you're going to use it as a charger. But the pad 7 actually has 2 ways of charging up. One through the main DC input, the other one is through the USB-C. So this is just the storage of the tablets and so forth. and if you need to reset the tablet, you need to go to the systems themselves. You'll see other areas here, and you've got the reset options here, and we can actually reset certain things and also erase the data for the tablet, reset the Bluetooth modules and so forth. So we'll just go back. Now the next one, I mentioned before, when you receive your Pad 7, go into this wireless update. This is just to check and make sure you've got the latest operating system. It's update itself regarding the tablet itself. Just get it checked. It will download while you're on the internet, and it will add certain functions that the tablet was missing prior. This is the tablet operation, the system's update. But I recommend to make sure it's updated. The TeamViewer QS. Okay, so if somebody wants to take over TeamViewer, this is where you will go and share your ID to you, and then check if you used TeamViewer before, and then it will take you request that they can take over your tablet, and away you go. The next one is the gallery. Now the Pad 7 has a number of, it's got cameras on the actual Pad 7, so you can actually take screenshots, and also this is where you'll show the screenshots and so forth, and you can paste them and send them from this point on. The browser, it's self-explanatory. It goes directly to the web browser. You can do your searching and so forth, so I don't need to go into that. A calculator, we've put in a calculator if you require this type of system, and just a bit of, if you need to add up something for some reason. It has the normal calculator, and then we have the camera itself. So you can see that this is the camera. It'll take the front and back shots of the camera. This is where you would do your recording itself. It also has flash, so if you took a photo, the light on the back of the Pad 7 will come on, which is another feature that the Pad 7 does have. It has a torch built into it. Now the next one is the vehicle coverage. Now the vehicle coverage itself is all the vehicles that the software will cover. Now I'll briefly go over this one. You have to be on the internet for this and a good signal. So we'll just make it just load up. It's taking a little bit of time today. Okay, it'll load up. And then how you use this is commercial, depending upon what you want to look at. AB for the manufacturers. So you would select, say for instance, Ford or so forth. It'll come up with the Fs. So you've got Ford and so forth. BMW naturally will go here. So anything starting with the B. So once you go into the manufacturer, the next thing is you would go along and select the model that you require, and then along the screen it will start loading up the software on its functions. Now to filter it out a bit, so you select the year model, and more filtering you do, the quicker it will be, or you can skip it and go into different areas, live data. But for instance, we'll go into the system select. I'll go into electric steering, and then it will show you up the area that is in body, the series of the BMW F40, and also the Okay, for the next modules, we'll catch you on the next video.